So there was a point about 15 minutes into this movie where I kind of sunk into myself and thought, 2017 is so far the best year of films I have ever seen. And Foxtrot just took it to the next level. Let's talk about it. So, Foxtrot is a film that is part of the main competition here at the 2017 Venice Film Festival. We were worried we were going to miss it. We almost got close. We were like, do we go, do we not go? We are so glad we did because absolutely wow. This film is directed by Samuel Maers, I think I'm getting that correct, and it is a joint production between Israel, France, and Germany. So there's a lot of people getting behind making this happen. Thank you for doing so. The film stars, let me try to read out their names here because they deserve to be mentioned and I want to get this right. Leo Ajshakani and Sarah Adler. I'll put their names up on screen and a picture of them because these guys are fantastic. Basically, this film, I don't want to, I'm just going to read the synopsis as well for it because I don't want to say, I just want to give you the minimum amount. A troubled family face the facts when something goes terribly wrong at their son's desolate military post. That is all we're giving you in terms of story because I knew nothing about this before going in and seeing it, and it actually, it fucked my shit up. This movie is one of the greatest films I have ever seen. I know it may seem like I'm saying that a lot in 2017, but I must really push that 2017 has given me more great films by this point in the year than I have ever seen at any point before.
But Bailey, you're right, because this film is a masterpiece. It is one of the greatest films we've both ever seen. Like, it is astounding how good this film is from the first second, like Shape of Water. From the first second, you're like, oh my god, we are in store for one hell of a story.
It was pretty much from the second shot here. Like, it started out great, and then the second shot happened. It was kind of like a long take, and it just kind of blew our minds from the start. And the film did not stop there. Every single frame of this film is absolutely just astounding. Basically, I think to kind of gather why this film works for us so much, it uses a very similar style of storytelling to our favourite TV show of all time, which is The Leftovers. It has this kind of keeping you on the back foot, keeping you uninformed with what's going on with the situation, putting characters through the absolute emotional ringer, having them deal with immense levels of grief and despair, and throwing characters that deal with it in different ways against each other, and watching them clash and explode and try to cope.
And then on top of that, capturing it in ways you cannot even imagine. And I literally mean that because, like, some of the shots here we've never seen before. I'm talking about, like, hiding characters out of frame and just giving us a strong close-up of one character for like 5 minutes on end.
They're giving all this information. There was actually, right at the start of the film.
And then following that up with like these wonderful, and it used throughout the entire film, these bird's eye view shots of the characters to kind of like completely throw them...
Change the space, so they'll put them in a room and compress them by filming downwards, and that way it just doesn't feel right watching.
And yeah, the character lose all control, like they're losing their state of mind, that the audience is feeling that as well.
And then the camera will like snake and twist through like a doorway and reframe, and there was all like, this has got some of the best visual storytelling I have ever seen. This is the kind of film that I want to see essay after essay written. I want to see them up on YouTube about how well the storytelling is done in this movie.
At first it's kind of like noticeable because you've never seen it before, but then it moves into a state where it's just this blend of beautiful compositions where you've just, you've got these nice stagnant shots where the frame is just telling you absolutely everything. Then you've just got a master class of coverage where it just increases the intensity in scenes. This film is just something else.
It's a film that's about appreciating the little details of storytelling. This is not a grand, bombastic film. This is a very intimate, human film to do with kind of a family that's being ripped apart. But it's the devil is in the details here. It really is like, that is what sells the film here. All these little nuances in the storytelling, people talking about having lost family members, while the character that's talking to them is standing next to like family photos and stuff. Just those little details that add that extra crush kind of to your emotions, to your heartstrings when you realize the level of attention to detail going into the film. And the other thing about it is its raw unpredictability. This movie is one of those films that I feel like by the end it tied up literally every single thing you see in this film has a resolution, and that is the type of storytelling I appreciate, down to like a painting that is given time in the film actually has a resolution in the end, where that thing that was visited for a single shot is tied off in a way that adds punch to the theme. That is maximum storytelling for me, and that's the kind of stuff that just makes me say wow.
It's just pure perfection, to be honest. And I mean, like, to touch on the acting here, it is just an absolute masterclass. I mean, actors, filmmakers, directors, producers, people that just like film, you can learn so much from this by just watching the actors and how they've attacked this script, because there is so goddamn much, and you can see the actors have done a lot to get there. And obviously, massive kudos to the director as well to obviously handle a script
You're
like
a mastermind.
this with the actors, because I mean, like, the emotions they show are raw, they are real, and they are
I
natural.
thought the characters were real. I did never at any point doubt that what I was seeing was not authentic.
And so much of this information is like delivered to these characters in real time, and it's live, and it feels like you're almost watching a documentary, the way they perceive this information and the way these characters react, because you've got all these different characters and they're all reacting to the same piece of information, but they're all reacting in different ways, and then you can connect with that as an audience member, either like sympathetically or empathetically, knowing who you are as a person, and that's just...
And it's so great to see a film where everything you see is worthwhile. Every second spent in this movie has meaning, has purpose, has a use to make a moment later on more powerful, to give it more meaning. And the other thing as well is that this film is almost worth it alone for the second act switch up. This film, basically, each of the three acts diverts into a completely different direction that all kind of rounds back together by the time the film wraps up. And it, honestly, like, the switch ups that happen here are just phenomenal. Like, it honestly just went into places where we were sitting there. I was just desperate to say to Jake, is this also one of the best things you've ever seen? But we were so kind of locked into, like, I need to take all of this in at once that we couldn't even look at each other.
It's just unreal. Like, honestly, the tension in this film feels like you're going... In one scene, it feels as though a character has just... They hold a grenade and they've just pulled the pin, and you're watching them and you're like, is that going to explode?
You're like, don't let go.
Is that going to explode? And then the next scene, they're sitting there and they're about to pull the pin, and you're like, please pull the pin, please pull the pin.
Yeah, you want to see.
It's just like the amount of tension, like the way this film functions. Like, how does it exist? How is it this good? Please, oh my god, give me more.
Some of the best storytelling I've seen on screen this year by far. And the thing is, as well, is like, you know, when you see a movie where, obviously, we're reviewing this pretty much relatively soon after seeing it, but you know when you see a movie that you go, I am not forgetting that anytime soon. This is the kind of movie that I'm going to go to sleep thinking about. At Venice already, we've already had that with The Shape of Water. We have not been able to stop thinking about that since we have seen that. And this one already, it's just, we cannot stop talking about it. All day we have just talked about this movie.
And I mean,
just
come
limitless.
on, the technicals here, the editing is so pitch perfect. The cinematography, at times, I feel like a painter actually just painted images, because it just looks so juicy. Also, this film is not so completely dramatic that you're sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time.
No, there's
bits of
comedic pops.
There's comedy. I mean, come on, there's everything.
The comedic pops, the best part about him is quite often it's a comedic pop then, and then 10 minutes later that thing that you laughed at got switched up on you, and you're like, oh god, that's messed up that I laughed at that. And that is one of the most, just stunning storytelling. This is everything that I want to be able to achieve as a writer, as a director. It is honestly we were just completely floored by it. And to think that we almost missed seeing this movie, I think this is almost a testament to the fact that always give stuff a chance. You never know when you're going to see something that is actually going to kind of not just blow your mind, but might also change your life. You never know when that's going to be. So I think this here is a testament to taking a chance on something.
And I'm just so glad that we've seen it, because now we can tell you guys about it, and now everyone else should go and see it, because this film demands to be seen. And my god, if you don't see foreign films that often, go and see this one. Start off with something absolutely banging, because this is worth it.
I really hope you guys get as much out of this movie as we have, because obviously you can see we've been absolutely floored by this. I could talk about this for the next 3 days. The rest of my life, pretty much. It is that impressive. It is just a stunning piece of cinema. Truly, what I would consider a masterpiece. I'm sure other people just won't like this film. I'm sure some people will outright detest it, but I think we've been able to access exactly what this film was going for, exactly what it is, and I think because of that, we cannot appreciate it possibly any more than we already do. And when that happens, we have no choice but to give this film a perfect score. We are giving this one
a 10.
A 10.
A 10.
I guess obviously as well, guys, we've had a couple of people comment about this recently. That is currently, I think, number 5 for the year. But as we have to state, there has been that many films this year that have been just next level stunning. As I've said, this is the most impressive year of cinema that I can remember having up to this date in September when we're at the time of doing this review. There has just been that many films this year that we were absolutely floored by to the next level, cannot stop thinking about, cannot stop talking about. They are truly deserving of that score. Yes, they are all 10s for different reasons, but they are still that number. We cannot actually see how that could have been any better, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, you know, it's just, I mean, guys, like, why are you complaining if a film gets that good score?
You
because it is such an exciting time. If films are this goddamn good, go out and see them.
And you can't,
you know, and half the time, well, all the time, it's not just us giving us incredible scores as well.
have a look at other people out there. They're dropping those scores on them as well. We're not going to see a movie that's this good and then go like, 9.7 if they're that 0.3. Like, nope, everything was done right. That pushes it up to a 10. That's just how it goes. So anyway, that's just our little kind of rant. So that was our review of Foxtrot from the 2017 Venice Film Festival. We'd asked if you'd seen it yet, but you probably haven't.
So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Maybe you've seen the director's previous film, Lebanon.
And while you're down in that comment section, it's probably worth hunting down and hitting our subscribe button to see more stuff from us.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banner while we're at the Venice Film Festival.